There is a strange kind of pull happening in the sky above Virgo right now, and almost nobody is talking about it correctly. Two very different measuring systems, Western and Vedic astrology, are looking at the exact same Monday and placing your moon in two different signs entirely. That is not a mistake. That is the whole story of today. Because whether you feel emotionally sharp and talkative or quietly nostalgic and soft depends on which lens you are standing in. By the end of this reading, you will understand why your inner world might feel split in two today and what to actually do about it. The bigger picture. Let us start with the frame that most shapes this week. Mercury, your ruling planet, is shifting into Leo and into what astrologers call your 12th house, the house of solitude, hidden thoughts, and unfinished internal business. This is not a small transit. It lasts until August 25th, which means the coming weeks are less about broadcasting your ideas and more about quietly gathering them. You may notice thoughts arriving that feel too raw or too early to say out loud. That is not avoidance. That is the 12th house doing exactly what it is built for. Here is where the two traditions start to disagree in an interesting way. In Western tropical astrology, today's moon sits in Gemini, amplifying mental energy, confidence, and quick social wins. But in Vedic, or sidereal astrology, which shifts the zodiac by roughly 24 degrees, that same moon is often read as sitting in Cancer instead, pulling you toward emotional undercurrents rather than mental sharpness. Neither system is wrong. They are simply measuring the sky from different starting points. And this is exactly why Virgo may feel two things at once today: an outward confidence that wants to say yes to opportunities, and an inward tug that wants to retreat and process something privately first. There is one more layer worth understanding, because it explains a longer pattern in your life, not just today. From an evolutionary astrology perspective, Chiron, the wounded healer, is currently forming a long, slow parabolic relationship with both Saturn and Uranus in the part of your chart connected to foreign places and foreign people. Saturn represents your reality check. Uranus represents your need to change something fundamental. Put together, this cycle asks you to honestly examine a situation involving a person from a different background or a country outside your own, and then decide whether you are ready to change how you engage with it. This is not a one-day event. It is a slow, unfolding chapter, and today is simply one page inside it: love. Now here is where these threads start weaving together. If Mercury is asking you to sit with private thoughts, and the moon is stirring either confident self-expression or quiet emotional memory depending on which system you trust, your relationships today may carry a similar duality. You might feel unusually sure of yourself around a partner or a person you are interested in, comfortable enough to be playful and direct. At the same time, an old memory, an unfinished conversation, or a person from your past may quietly resurface in your mind. This is where the deeper caution comes in. Nostalgia has a persuasive voice. It can make an old connection feel more meaningful right now than it may actually be. If a name from your history crosses your mind today, resist the urge to immediately send that message. Write down what you actually feel first. Ask yourself honestly whether you are craving closure, reconnection, or simply relief from carrying an old feeling alone. Not every private feeling needs to become a public sentence. Some are meant to be understood quietly before they are shared at all. For those currently building something with someone, this 12th house energy can actually be a gift. A quiet evening together, low pressure and low noise, may do more for your bond today than any grand gesture. Let the relationship breathe instead of performing for it. Career. That same instinct to hold back before speaking applies powerfully to your work life right now. Virgo is famously detail-oriented, but the current planetary weather may tempt you to rush a task just to get it off your plate. Resist that pull. Cutting corners now tends to create a much bigger mess to clean up later, while the slower, more meticulous approach quietly compounds into a real advantage. Confidence is also on your side today, at least from the Western lens. That same self-assured energy tied to today's moon can make you naturally persuasive in meetings, negotiations, or presentations. You may find that your calm, grounded attitude is enough to impress someone who was previously undecided about you. If an opportunity appears that feels slightly bigger than what you expected, it is worth taking seriously rather than second-guessing yourself out of it. But remember the deeper current running underneath all of this. With Mercury retreating into that internal 12th house space, your best professional ideas this week may not arrive in a meeting room. They may arrive while you are alone, half distracted, doing something completely unrelated to work. Keep a notebook nearby. The insight that eventually changes your trajectory may start as a single private sentence that nobody else has heard yet. Money. Financial decisions today ask for the same patience as your career choices. The current energy favors pragmatic, grounded moves over anything impulsive or gamble adjacent. If you have been eyeing a piece of property or land, this may genuinely be a favorable window to follow up, since your natural confidence combined with careful Virgo discernment can help you negotiate a solid deal, one that pays off well down the line. That said, this is not the moment for speculative risks or emotionally driven purchases. If a financial choice feels exciting purely because it is fast or flashy, treat that excitement as a signal to slow down, not speed up. The steady, unglamorous decisions you make this week are the ones likely to protect you later. Health. Take a moment here, because this is the part of today's chart that matters most. Here is what makes today genuinely worth paying attention to. Your ruling planet is quietly withdrawing into a private, internal chamber of your chart at the very same time your confidence and social energy are being pulled outward by the moon. That tension between wanting to show up boldly and needing to retreat inward is not a flaw in you. It is the literal architecture of today's sky. Most people will only feel the confusion of that pull without understanding why it is happening. You now do. Think of it like standing at a doorway between two rooms. One room is bright, social, full of conversation and confidence. The other is dim, quiet, and full of half-formed thoughts you have not said aloud yet. You do not have to choose one room permanently. You are simply allowed to walk between them today, spending time in each without guilt. Physically, this back and forth can show up as fatigue if you ignore it. Stress may be building beneath a surface that looks calm and capable, especially if you have been focused on how far you still have to go rather than how far you have already come. Give yourself permission to actually rest, not just slow down while still working. Journaling before bed, or even simply naming a fear on paper, can help release mental noise that would otherwise keep circling. If a Vedic-minded friend or practitioner suggests planetary remedies for stress or emotional heaviness, know that specific gemstone prescriptions in that tradition depend entirely on an individual's full birth chart, including planetary strength and timing, so they are never something to take on as generic advice. Wearing a warm, grounding color like yellow, however, is a simple, safe practice traditionally associated with supporting confidence and clarity, and it costs you nothing to try. Home and family. At home, this quieter internal mood can actually strengthen your relationships rather than isolate you. Family members or roommates may notice you being a little more reflective, a little less quick to fill silence with conversation. That is fine. Let the people close to you see this softer, more internal version of you instead of performing constant availability. If tension has been building with someone in your household, today's grounded, confident energy gives you a good foundation for a calm conversation rather than a reactive one. You are less likely to say something you regret and more likely to actually listen. Use that. Travel in spirit. The theme of foreign places and outside perspectives keeps surfacing today, and it is worth taking seriously rather than dismissing as a coincidence. Whether it appears as an actual travel opportunity, a longing to visit somewhere unfamiliar, or a connection with someone from a different cultural background, this pull outward toward the unfamiliar seems to be asking you to examine something honestly first. Norway has been mentioned as a place that could genuinely spark inspiration if travel is on your mind, somewhere quiet, clean, and reflective, matching the internal mood of the week. Spiritually, this is a good stretch to sit with questions rather than rushing toward answers. If there is a belief, a relationship, or a long-held assumption about a foreign place or person that no longer feels accurate, allow yourself to quietly re-examine it. You do not need to announce the shift. You simply need to notice it honestly. Lucky signs. If you are looking for a small daily edge today, yellow is considered a supportive color for Virgo, tied to confidence and mental clarity. The window between 1:15 and 2 in the afternoon appears to be your most productive stretch, worth protecting from unnecessary interruptions. Gemini energy, or a Gemini person, may bring an easy, encouraging presence into your day, while the overall mood favors quiet follow-through over loud announcements. Today's guidance. If there is one thread to carry out of today, it is this. Confidence and quiet reflection are not opposites, They are two rooms in the same house, and you are allowed to walk between them. Let your outward self take the meeting, negotiate the deal, or have the honest conversation. Let your inward self keep the notebook, hold the unfinished thought, and wait before sending that message you are unsure about. The version of you who watches this kind of pattern closely, rather than reacting to only half of it, is the version who tends to make the wiser call. That habit, more than any single transit, is what actually shapes how this week turns out for you.